Cubby once said, "What we call success is about getting money, prestige, feeding the ego. When you follow that path in life, you're really breaking down the gates of hell." We're taught in this country to worship getting things. No one tells you that the purpose in life is giving. We have the whole thing upside down.
We spent a great deal of time going to the VA hospital in Westwood. You know, this is a guy that he had to fight to get those benefits. He was in the Merchant Marines, and he had to fight to get the benefits. And for years, he didn't have benefits.
I was having breakfast with him in LA, and he finally managed to get a free cane from the government. And he was so happy that he'd finally gotten something. He said, finally got something out of that fucking government, man. And he's got this cane now. It's one of these aluminum canes they give you. And so we finished breakfast, and we start to leave, and he forgot his fucking cane. That's how much he needed it.
I got a call from Cubby one day. He says, "Gil, I have to ask you something." And I said, "What is he?" He said, "The American Academy of Arts and Letters wants to give me an award for my work, but I don't want to take it." I said, "Why don't you want to take it?" He said, "Well, they didn't help me out when I was really broke." I said, "Cubby, this is not that kind of an award. This is not an award. They don't give awards to needy artists who say, 'Can you give me an award?' That's the Guggenheim is like that, or the National Endowment for the Arts is like that. You apply for it. You can't apply for this award." Then I got a call or a letter, whatever it was, from somebody at the American Academy and said, "We understand that you're an old friend of Hubert Selby's." I said, "Yeah, we want to give him an award." He doesn't want to take it. I said, "I know. Can you persuade him?" I said, "I'll give him another try." I gave him another try, and he said, "No, I'm not taking their award." And the same reason was given. They didn't help me out when I was broke. It was $7,500. And at the time, Cubby was out in LA, as far as I know, living on welfare.
Selby had always liked being an American, and he'd lived through the Great Depression, was a veteran of World War II, and had survived numerous personal and national disasters. But he was appalled with the Bush administration, the war in Iraq, and the fact that so many Americans were blindly backing Bush. In 2003, Cubby wrote this to his friend, Nick Tosches. "There's an element in my life now that I have not experienced in the past, being ashamed of my country. I have certainly disagreed with some of the clowns we elect, but what is happening now is disgraceful. I too have thought of moving to Europe, but I can't now, it's too late. Can't breathe, can't walk much. Plus my family's here."
People like Baby Bush are anti-art because they don't want any sense of freedom or a generational lead-in, continuation of freedom and that individual sense of accomplishment.
I hope I can do Cubby justice. In the last year of his life, he was very upset about what was going on in this country, this whole bullshit in Iraq. And, you know, a lot of times we talk about how angry Cubby was. What was he angry about? Well, I know what the fuck he was angry about. He was angry about the same goddamn thing that I'm angry about, the unfairness of life.
You had to be tough to have those opinions. You had to be tough to be him. And you had to be tough to believe the way he believes. And I just loved him for being able to talk about that, and with none of the sort of baggage that words like God or spirituality or compassion or faith have out in the plastic world.
He was on a spiritual journey. That's the sense that I got. And that's reflected in his writing, and specifically in Requiem. As bleak as it got, I always felt that there was hope.
The soul has got to go through the fire and show that although we're burned by the fire, we still limp through. You know, this is someone who has all the burdens of enormous disease and suffering, and yet you have the feeling when you see him that he's going to start to skip or whistle a happy song.
I can honestly say, in all sincerity, he never believed that he was great or better or different from anyone else. You know, he was, you know, just say one of a kind. You know.
Hubert Selby Jr. beat drugs and booze and disease and kept working, even going to teach class at USC on an oxygen tank up to a few weeks before he died. The last thing Cubby wrote 4 days before his death simply said, "A list of indignities. Birth, death." He died of chronic obstructive pulmonary disease at 6 a.m. on April 26th, 2004. He passed calmly, at home, listening to music and holding Suzanne's hand.